And so did your family ever raise tobacco or no?
Oh yeah, my father did. He when he started out, there wasn't much tobacco growing around there. They bought the farm in 1921 because they had the 7 children, and we worked pulling plants and weeding and hoeing and help with the
And
cutting
was your father's tobacco the field grown or the shade?
out in the field.
Mm-hmm.
No, only the big farmers had the shade.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so when you were harvesting tobacco, what was your job?
To sucker, you take off those little extra plants near the top there, sucker, and then cut it. And then I was the one, I didn't mind climbing on the pole, so I was the one that went and handed the plant to the person who tied it. They tied tobacco there.
Mm-hmm.
And then you move the poles and you keep walking around, and you get pretty good at walking and not being afraid up there. At first, it's kind of funny.
You mean walking around in the rafters of the barn?
Yes, yeah.
But I mean, wasn't it heavy well, they're handing up plants, not the 5 on a lap or whatever.
Just one at a time, yes. When they hang it that way, sometimes they would call it spearing, when they spear 5 plants on a lap and hang that up. That's only the men can do that. That's
Right.
hard work.
Because it's really heavy, yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, they allowed you to do that and were comfortable enough with you clambering around up there that you're not going to fall down.
Oh yes, never fell.
Yeah. And so when you're cutting the plants, so you're cutting them and then kind of laying them down in the field.
You have to lay them down nice, and so that you lay it so that the leaves don't crack off of the stem. You gently lay it.
And then they have to like kind of dry there a little bit before you.
No, they wilt.
Oh, they wilt.
So they didn't snap. You cut after it's the heat of the day when they're wilted. Otherwise, they would snap before they're attached to the stalk.
And you're saying you guys didn't spear them on, you tied them on?
Some of them, it would depend on what you have in the barn. You needed more laths. And if you had a person who could tie, because that was a tough job, the man who would pull that string tight and cut into the stalk enough to hold it on there. Can't imagine him holding his arm up there most of the day. And then if you had enough poles in the barn, that's another thing. You had to have more poles when you had to do it on string, because for the 5, you space them a lot different apart.
Right.
Let the air go through.